Hey guys, Matthew here. In this video we're going to talk about the line tool. So the line is the next most complex piece of geometry and is effectively just a segment connecting two points. So if I make a point, P-O-I-N-T, and I started at say, let's start it at 0, 0, 0. There we go, what a lovely point. And I'm going to make another point and I'm going to put it at 10, 10, 0. Now I have 2 points. So a line is effectively the straight segment connecting those 2 points, which is not very unsurprising. So the command to type in to make a line is just, as you would expect, line, and it's L-I-N. So here we go, and you'll notice there's a whole bunch of these little things here. One says both sides, the other says normal, the next one says angle, the next one says vertical, the next one says 4 point, the next one says bisector, the next one says perpendicular, the next one says tangent, the next one says extension. We're going to go through the important ones there, but at the moment we're in this method that says you can draw a line from the start. So I'm going to use my O-snap to start the line here at 0, 0, 0. Now the end of the line is an interesting one. I can either give it a point like so, and it's automatically going from 0, 0, 0 to 10, 10, 0. But I can also, at that moment when I type line and I choose a start point, I can actually give it a distance. So if I type, say, for example, 10, and I hold down Shift, it will give me a unit of 10 units long on the x-axis. So effectively it just locks the length of that value to 10. And then I can give it the direction in which it's to be made. Okay? Now, you might feel that in some way you already knew that a line was between 2 points, but mathematically, in school you would have probably learned the formula y equals mx plus b, in which, in that sense, a line is this infinitely long thing. So a line, in the sense of computational geometry, is a different structure altogether, in which it has a start here and an end here. And this is an important point because we can call the start, say, a number 0, and the end another number, say, let's call it 1. And this becomes the parameter space of the line. This may not seem important right now, but it's got certain implications. So if I say the line, for example, is going from here to here, and I'm going to draw another 2 lines so it becomes an arrow, the line has a direction, okay? And in that same sense, the line has things to the left of it and things to the right of it. Which seems like an odd point to make, but this is an important factor in the idea of things being inside and outside when you get to more complex things. It's just something to keep in mind. So we can draw a line between 2 points, which is the default. There are other ways we can draw a line. So there's line on both sides. So it'll ask me for the middle of the line instead of the start of the line. And if I click anywhere, I'm going to click at this endpoint here, and then it'll ask for the endpoint. So I could click somewhere, or I could give it a number. If I give it a number, I'm going to give it 10, as we did before. You'll notice that now the length of the line is double the number it asks, right? Because it's going from the middle to the end, and that length is 10 units, meaning the total length of the line is 20 units. I'm going to type line again. So we made lines from both sides. The next one is normal. So I'm going to type, I'm going to press escape to get another line command. Then I'm going to type box, because it's the only command we know that has normals. So normal, by definition, is something that is perpendicular to something else. So this box here, say this face, its normal is the x direction. So the normal is going this way, the normal is going that way for that face, and for the top face it's going up. For the line, however, it has an infinite number of normals because there are an infinite number of lines that are perpendicular to it. So the normal command will not work there. So if I type line now and I choose normal and I move my mouth, it'll say on surface, like the O-snap option, which means that I'm on that surface, and if I draw a line, it'll be perpendicular to it. That line is 90 degrees to that face there. All right, what else do we have? You very, very rarely used angled, so I'm not going to go through that. Vertical is probably the most important one. At the moment, I've only shown you how to draw lines on the construction plane. If I want to draw something off the construction plane, I can choose vertical, and it'll allow me to choose the start of the line and then go up. So I can give it a number. I can say give it 10, and it'll lock that to 10 units, either up or down. So bam, and now I have a line that's 10 units long in the Z direction. I can also extension a line by clicking on extension. So that allows me to change the length of a line over a distance. So it's the very last option. So when I type in line, I can choose extension, and instead of it asking me to give it a number or a start point, it asks for a curve. In this case, I'm going to click this one. And then it'll allow me to either extend it in this direction or extend it in this direction. But nevertheless, it allows me to draw a new line that extends the first one. You'll notice that it always starts at the start point and not the end point. So if I did that again, and I type line, and I choose extension, and I select the curve, and I go over here, you'll notice that this line goes over this line. So if I select this one, it goes over the whole thing. If I click on top of this line, it will give me the option to select either the shorter curve, or the shorter line, or the larger line. If I, for example, wanted this line to start here, what I would need to do is I would need to flip the direction of the curve, F-L-I-P. And what that does is it changes the direction. So now the arrow is pointing in this direction, which has the implication that this is now the start point and this is now the end point. So when I type line and I choose extension and I choose this as my option, you'll notice now it starts at that point there. And I can continue, and now it'll end at the start point, and this will no longer overlap that. But then, of course, again, if I type in line, choose extension, and click on that, I can't go the other direction now. So the direction of the line is actually quite important. And if you ever get into computer programming and architecture, it becomes very, very fundamental to what we do. Now, if I make a circle and draw a line again, there's another option called tangent. And what tangent lets me do is choose a line on a curvy object and draw a line that's tangential to that object. And a tangent, if I draw a line from that endpoint to by turning these off, it'll make my life easier, to the center of that circle, these two lines are perpendicular to each other. And that's how to draw a line tangential to a curve. There are different kinds of objects in circles that you can be tangential to, which we'll go into in another video. But at this point, the only thing we know that's slightly curved is a circle. So you can draw lines that are tangential to curves. So the next one that we'll look at is perpendicular, which is effectively just going to draw a line that is, I chose the center there, sorry. Near is on, we're just going to draw a line that is line perpendicular. We're just going to draw a line that is perpendicular to the tangent. So this line is perpendicular to this circle at that point. And they're all the ways you can draw a line. But for example, what happens if you drew a line and you wanted to edit its points? So if, say for example, I actually wanted the end point of this to be somewhere else. Like I actually wanted to move it to snap to here. I just wanted to do that for some reason. But like, you know, I've designed something, I've had to make a change, and no longer is my line needing to go to here, it's now needing to go to here. So to do that, I'm just going to type points on. Points on. And it'll let a point happen there. Okay? So I'm going to type move, and we'll see if I can move that point and snap it to there. Great. I can move points. So a line is fundamentally, you know, a segment between 2 points in a computer, no matter what. That is the definition of a line. But that doesn't mean that's the only way we can draw a line, which we've explored in this video. So just remember that lines, most importantly, lines have direction. Lines have a start and an end. And lines can be drawn in a whole bunch of different ways. Most importantly, you can draw lines from the middle. You can draw lines that are normal to something, i.e. perpendicular to it. You can, to a surface. You can draw lines that are perpendicular to a curve. You can draw lines that are tangential to something. You can extend lines. And you can draw lines that are vertical. The vertical one is probably the most useful of them all, so that's why, if I've already said that one, I'm saying it again. So out of these, I would say the level of importance is the automatic one, vertical, then both sides. And then the other ones are kind of lesser versions of that. But vertical is fundamental, both sides is very, very useful, and the basic drawing line function is super, super cool. And then the last bit you should probably remember is that because it's defined by points, if I type points on, I can turn on this object's points and edit it after the fact. And that's all you need to know about lines. See you in the next video.